Hey everybody, thanks for standing by. As a reminder, our event's being recorded and it'll be archived on constructionbusinessowner.com. I'm Megan Beam, I'm the editor-in-chief of Construction Business Owner Magazine and Digital Media. Welcome to DEWALT POWERSHIFT, the power of electrification and sustainability, sponsored by DEWALT. Our presenters today are Sarah Godding and Ricky Cacciati. The DEWALT POWERSHIFT cordless equipment system is ushering in the job site of the future. The system can produce up to 60% less CO2 emissions during use versus gas-powered equipment, enabling sustainable innovation in the construction industry. Thanks to everybody who sent in questions at registration. If you didn't get a chance to send them in early, please feel free to submit through the Q&A box on your screen during the live event, and we'll get to as many of them as possible. But if we don't have time for all the submitted questions, we'll still get them to the DEWALT team for following up. And now let's get started. I'm going to pass it over to Sarah.
Thanks so much, Megan. My name's Sarah Godding, and I lead our DEWALT battery and charger platform, and I'm so excited to be here today to talk a little bit about POWERSHIFT. But before I get into it, I'll pass it over to Ricky to introduce himself.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm Ricky Cacciati, and I am a director of product development, and I'm also our GM for the POWERSHIFT program. And so today, we're going to cover battery and charger tech, right, and advancements in that space, and that leads to longer run times, faster charging, and honestly, overall better performance for cordless tools. We'll dip into the electrification end of it with DEWALT POWERSHIFT, so that'll be the tools that we've brought to market so far. And then we'll finish up and wrap up with sustainability and how designing these tools consumes less power, right, to meet the sustainability goals of maybe your organization or your clients' organizations. We're going to show a video here in a second, and what I think is important here is that the folks that are a part of this testimonial and part of this video, they had these tools for a year, and so internally we don't normally talk about the videos themselves, the background of it, but we referred to it as the 1 year later video. And this 1 year later video was our development partners really living with and getting to experience all of the benefits that I described above and that Sarah and I will cover later, related to the power, the runtime, the ergonomics, and really the sustainability.
My name is Nicholas Delaire. I'm an electrical foreman, and I've been doing this about 8 years now.
My name is Jacob Alster. I'm a journeyman plumber. Been doing plumbing about 10 years.
Nick King. I'm a foreman for Ruby Collins, and I've been 25 years now.
I'm Nick Potts. I'm a carpenter, concrete finisher. Been in the industry for a little over 3.5 years.
My name is Hunter Watts. I'm a superintendent, and I've been in the industry about 5 years.
I'm Joshua Taylor, project manager, field manager, and I've been doing plumbing for 17 years.
DEWALT POWERSHIFT has changed my view and expectations of the power tools that I use now.
The POWERSHIFT, there's nothing else like it.
We've been using this DEWALT POWERSHIFT vibrator. Great asset to us, really helped us out. Manpower, hours.
Normal job, to core a hole through a block wall, take you 2 to 3 hours to set up. With the DEWALT core rig, I could have that done 30 minutes by myself.
Screeding, 2-man job, traditional vibrator, 2-man job. You cut that all down to one person.
Usually we had 3 guys pouring a column. Now we only got 2 just because the best thing about it was the wristband, turning it on and off.
I've used the POWERSHIFT rammer over a year now. I'm able to keep up in time charging it while in use and never really have a wait time.
I think everybody was surprised by the runtime.
8-9 hour slab pour, and we didn't have to change the battery one time.
I mean, the battery life is amazing. Both the vibrator and the screed. You charge your battery, take your battery, it usually lasts all day.
What stood out to me most about the POWERSHIFT rammer was actually how light it was. Getting it in the van or getting it out of the van, I don't need help. Versus gas-powered equipment, I gotta have minimum 2 people.
I think POWERSHIFT ranks on top compared to gas or corded for the simple fact of reliability and ease of use.
Go anywhere, don't have to worry about a cord or having somebody stop, get a gas can.
When you're indoors, you can't run gas equipment because then the fumes and this carbon monoxide.
Well, you're running extension cords everywhere.
You don't want a cord catching your foot and falling on hard rebar. Is not fun.
What surprises me the most now after been using it over a year is the durability. The durability and the consistent power.
Easy to use. I could move concrete wherever I needed it. I could tie old and new concrete in together.
The POWERSHIFT rammer actually hit harder than the gas rammer I had on site. And not only did it hit harder, I think it was smoother while doing it. I can throw a one-day apprentice on it, or I can throw a 20-year journeyman on it, and they're going to be able to work it and figure it out.
From a safety standpoint, from an efficiency standpoint, from an enjoyment of work standpoint, I like when I can come to work and not have to struggle every day, and DEWALT tools help me do that.
It's helping us with safety. It's helping us with manpower. It's helping us with the comfortability of the people. You know, they're doing things easier here. It's what you're always looking for, you know, as far as, you know, upgrading the tool.
Big, heavy tools, heavy equipment, I'd definitely go with DEWALT.
DEWALT has outperformed themselves on this one. 100% recommend.
I'd rather have those tools on my job than any other thing right now. PowerShift going to change the future of the job site.
It's so exciting to hear that video and see what those folks are feeling after having used our battery system and tools for over a year. So speaking of the battery system, let's talk about the heart of our PowerShift platform, the battery technology. So we know there's skepticism about converting to battery-powered equipment from gas, and let's talk about how we've addressed those concerns as we develop our PowerShift battery and charger. So we really delivered in 4 key areas. 1, we deliver the power of gas no matter what tool you're using. Secondly, our PowerShift platform allows you to be more productive than you are with gas-powered equipment. And we offer all of this in a package that's focused on ergonomics, as well as offering battery pack management both on and off-site. So I'll dive into a little bit more detail now. In the PowerShift battery platform, we've taken advantage of advancements in cell technology that our competition hasn't. We're using premium cells to deliver the best performance. Cell technology impacts thermal stability, and this in turn can affect power output. High power means high current, and that could lead to hot packing. And what hot packing is when a battery pack shuts down because of overheating. We don't see this with the pouch cell technology that we're using in our current PowerShift platform. Our 554 watt-hour battery delivers 5,000 watts of power, all while remaining thermally stable. 5,000 watts is equivalent to a 7 horsepower motor, so pretty impressive there. More than enough power to deliver what's needed to get the job done. And it only weighs 11 pounds, as lightweight as it can be while delivering tremendous power and runtime. We'll continue to develop longer runtime, higher power batteries to support the developing PowerShift platform. Again, using the best cell technology to surpass your needs on the job site. So let's talk a bit about keeping you productive on site. PowerShift battery packs charge to 100% within 53 minutes. And not only that, you can put 2 chargers on one 15-amp breaker without a fear for tripping that breaker. So you can efficiently charge your battery packs without concern. This makes the process really simple and keeps you productive. Finally, we make it easy to transport these batteries and chargers with multiple handles on them, different positions on both the battery pack and charger. And we also offer compatibility with our Tough System 2.0 portable storage. So you can clip it onto that system and easily move the battery pack and charger around with you. So with that, I'll pass it back to Ricky to talk a little bit about the tools.
Thanks, Sarah. So when we talk about the tools, one of the big things is how we're connected, right? It seems to be a topic everybody wants to talk about. So not only the tools, but also the pack is a fully connected part of our system that we call Tool Connect Plus. So it offers things that you would expect. Location services, where's my stuff, and inventory management, what do I have? What really sets PowerShift, though, apart with our connected system is utilization. That's not something that you really see on this level of equipment. You usually have to wait to get to like large equipment from organizations like Caterpillar and John Deere or Komatsu. This utilization will allow you to be significantly more efficient with what you have. And our utilization suite will allow you to pull up a dashboard, look at your job sites, and you'll be able to understand what is being used and where, whether you need to transfer a piece of equipment, or if all your jobs are running at 100%, maybe you need to add in another piece of equipment to up not only your people's performance, but their productivity. So again, everything in the PowerShift system from a pack and a tool perspective is 100% completely connected
with our Tool Connect Plus suite. The other big thing, though, that we did with PowerShift, though, is we're launching all of these products in the workflow of your craft workers. So from site prep, we've launched a rammer and a plate compactor. With placement, we've launched a screed, a backpack vibrator, and a standard vibrator. Or well, if you're in the MEP trades, mechanical, plumbing, or electrical, or plumbing trades, we launched a core drilling system. And so when we start to look at it, right, let's talk about rammers and plates and site prep. The rammer is really, really impressive, and we've employed the latest in technology with it. And one of the big things about it is what it can do. I mean, we're talking 750 linear feet per charge on that battery that Sarah was just talking about. Right? Let's also look at the plate compactor. From a runtime perspective, we're talking about 6 football fields in length per charge. We did that by employing, the latest in technology for brushless motors and with the modules in the packs, right? And that combined system provides a really significant efficiency to deliver these types of runtimes. Some of the other unique things that we did in our site prep tools is our soft start. We looked at what it was like to live with the product. We heard the user earlier talk about, I can put either an apprentice or a journeyman on a product and get the same amount of productivity. One of the things that we did is our patented soft start. What it does is it gives a slow startup. And what that does, it allows the user to have maximum control of the product. So that way, as they start to compact the earth, right, they're able to control it better, whether it's on startup and they're running with the rammer, or it's even when they're churning around the plate compactor. So again, when we look at those things, right, productivity was at the heart of everything we're doing. The last big thing that we did on rammers and plates are the controls. And you may say, oh, well, what's the big deal? Everything has controls. You got to turn everything on and off. What we've seen throughout the industry, whether it's in other electrified solutions or it's even in gas, every piece of equipment has a unique way to turn it on or off and operate it. We didn't do that with PowerShift. What we focused on was a consistent experience for the user. So it's the exact same style of control and always mounted on the same place. So the on-off always lives on the right side. Your high-low for variable speed always lives on the left. Again, making it really intuitive. So that way, when we have new folks running equipment, they build that confidence really fast, flatten and lower the learning curve, and allow them to output like a journeyman in the shortest possible amount of time. Now that we've set our base with our site prep tools, let's turn over to screeds and vibrators. And this, in my opinion, is probably the most exciting part of PowerShift, because this is that one area, especially when we talk concrete placement, where time is not your friend. You don't have it, right? Concrete doesn't wait on anybody. It sets up in 90 minutes from the time it leaves the plant to the time you get it to the time you have to finish placing it on the job site. You're always working against that time. And so when we look at the vibrators and we look at what's out there today, because gas is the most popular out there, gas today will run for 45 minutes continuous. That's not bad. That's pretty good, actually. But when we look at PowerShift, PowerShift delivers 90 minutes of continuous run, and regardless of the slump of the concrete. So you could be placing in something as easy as 6 or 7 slump, or all the way down to 1 or 2 slump, right? So really heavy. It doesn't matter. The PowerShift system has the ability to keep up and really continue on with any of your placements. The other big thing is the weight, or when we look at ergonomics of those vibrators. So like the backpack vibrator is 5 pounds lighter than the next closest comparative unit. That's pretty significant, and that includes gas, by the way. Right? This unit is so light. We've taken all the weight off the craft, because we know that these pours can go 12, 14 hours sometimes. And it's all about making sure that the craft worker is fresh, so that way they're the most productive for you. So you have lightweight, you have long run times. It's pretty awesome when we look at the vibes. The screed is no different. The screed also will give you 90 minutes of continuous run. One of the real exciting things here, though, with this particular unit is it'll accept pretty much every major bar or board in the entire industry. We understand that you have a significant investment in this space. Nobody's going to ask you to buy new bars or boards. The DEWALT PowerShift screed comes with all the adapters. So if you have an L shape or any one of the extruded aluminum or magnesium bars or boards, you can connect right up to it, right out of the box, with every adapter included. included. The other big thing, we talked about time not being your friend with concrete. The PowerShift screed has the ability to break a soft cold joint. And that's when you're replacing, and say the concrete truck shows up an hour late and it's still soft, but it's starting to set up. You'll be able to break that soft cold joint with our screed, which is super impressive. There's no other cordless screed in the entire industry that can do that, and the PowerShift one can. So we've set our base, we've placed our concrete, building's cured, the concrete's cured. Let's talk about drilling some holes. The other big thing with the PowerShift core drill, one of the biggest things about the PowerShift core drill, it's a 6-inch class core drill, is what you can do per charge. I mean, we're talking 7 4-inch holes through 7 inches of 4,500 PSI concrete with reinforcement. That's a huge deal. That means you're gonna have this absolutely continuous runtime where you won't be able to discharge. It's faster than you can recharge a pack. Again, the heart of that system is that 554 watt-hour pack that Sarah was talking about earlier. Absolutely game-changing for our industry and for the craft. Hey, the other big thing about the core drill system is once you pop it off the sand, it's a handheld unit. So if you have to do maybe some dry coring through a CMU, or somebody has to work on a ladder, right? They're able to pop it off and go. By the way, when we start to talk about doing that application on a ladder, the other big thing to note is that the DEWALT PowerShift core drill also has anti-rotation technology. So in a bind-up situation, it'll shut off. You can also see that, though, as part of our Tool Connect Plus system. So, you know, you can have a safety manager aligned to it, or a superintendent. Hey, what it will do is it can set up an alert, and you'll be able to see, because we know bind-ups happen, and when the system triggers, what it indicates is, hey, you avoided a stop work incident. If you see a lot of them from a particular crew, it will also signal, hey, is this the right tool for the job? Do they need a new bit? Is there something weird about this application? And maybe we need to get another set of eyes on it. Again, it's about protecting the worker, being productive, and being safe. The PowerShift core drill, also when mounted in the stand, has the closest 2-wall or 2-ceiling clearance in the industry in cordless. Nothing can get closer. I mean, we're talking using a 3-inch core bit, and you can get right up against the wall or against the ceiling. And where that really comes into play is that no other cordless drill in the industry can do that, right? The closest they can get is a 4. So when you're doing occupied space or tenant work, that really starts to factor in, because you have lots of obstructions, whether it's other walls or you're in a tight utility closet. Right? Again, it's all about making sure that for you, producing that quality product, because that's all people see at the end of the day is the pipes run through and that clean core. So one of the other things, though, we should mention, though, about PowerShift is the zero maintenance. There's no gas, there's no oil, right? You don't have those worries, because we know a lot of these products can actually see some pretty sporadic use. And that sporadic use, I'll tell you, none of these gas-powered pieces of equipment love. They like to run, and when they're, they could sit 2-3 weeks, a month, right, depending on where you are and the stage of the job, right? They don't like that. Now, I will tell you, we were recently just on a photo shoot down in Miami, and it was awesome. By the way, the photo shoot we went and did was 1 a.m. We started, which is a pretty early start for us. Probably not for your crap, but for us, that was an early start. And what was exciting was that the contractors that we used for this photo shoot had never used, it was a concrete placement, 800 yards, 55,000 square foot slab. And what was really cool is that this contractor and the contractor we were working with had never used PowerShift. That may sound like a gamble, but we know what we have here, and we've been fortunate enough to get to experience this with a lot of organizations. And so we went out, and I'll be honest with you, the contractors had 8 gas-powered vibrators lined up against the formwork. They had 5 screeds. Like they were nervous, admittedly. And I honestly, I was teasing them. We were playing, and I said, "What do you do with all these? Like that's a lot. You have one person running a screed and one person running a vibe for this job." And they told me, they say, "Yeah, well, we have to inventory a lot of this stuff, and we have to stock this just to make sure that we can stay up and running, because we have problems with the equipment." And I teased them. I said, you can put it away. This is going to do it. And they said, if you don't mind, we're going to keep it here. I said, well, let's make a deal. You keep it there. We're going to run our equipment. If it doesn't meet, we'll leave. And we shook on it, and that was our deal. And within the first hour, they loaded all the equipment, put it in the box truck, and sent the box truck away. I will tell you that contractor right now is in the process of converting their fleet over to PowerShift. You know, we did 800 square feet, 800 cubic yards of concrete, 55,000 square foot. The vibrator went through 3 batteries. You know, they were laser screening transparently the center, but all of the edges, all the full perimeter was all done with our screen. They used half a battery, right? They were absolutely blown away. And I really think that speaks to the competency of the system and what it is, right? And you know, so you talk about, you know, investment to convert a fleet. You actually will end up saving money because you'll buy less equipment. You have no maintenance. You have nothing to repair. You don't have to worry about, you know, people, you know, making sure they got gas, make sure they change the oil. Is the sensor not messed up for the low oil, right? I mean, you have a lot of risk that inherently lives with gas. It's just something we've all been around. And so when you look at what PowerShift does for you, right, it's our craft workers know how to charge batteries. Think about it. Every night you go home, you plug in your cell phone, right? It's just become core to it. You know, for those in the trades now, we all grew up around cordless tools, so it's a completely normal thing to charge packs. Our users get it, right? Your craft workers get it. So it's, you know, again, the investment, you'll actually spend less in the long run. So I mentioned earlier about sustainability. We know we have a ton of clients that matters to. And so when we look at, you know, DEWALT PowerShift as an overall system, that cordless system produces up to 60% less CO2 emissions during year use versus gas-powered equipment. By the way, we do factor in the charging and, you know, and took an average of pollution that was created through the use of charging. And so it's not, you know, it's a really genuine statistic. And so like, let's look at like one concrete placement crew, which consists of 2 backpack vibrators and a single screed. Right? During use, they'll produce up to 87% less CO2 emissions per year versus gas-powered equipment. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable when you start to look at that. I mean, over the course of a year, right? By the way, per hour, that's 10 pounds less per hour of CO2. But when you start to do that over the course of a year, just that one crew on average, if we were to make a cube or a box of all that CO2 that wasn't put up, it would be the equivalent of a 4-story building, right? Like, think about how much that is. That's pretty unbelievable. So we talked a bit about connected before and sustainability. So our Tool Connect Plus system this summer, you will now be able to have, again, this summer, you'll be able to have a sustainability dashboard that'll be available, call it June, July of this year. And you can actually see your impact and be able to report it out. So again, for those customers or those clients that care about this, you'll be able to show them proof positive, like, hey, here's what we've done, here's been our carbon reduction, and here's what we're able to contribute. Maybe we should answer some questions. I know we had a lot of really good pre-submitted ones. Sarah, you want to take the first couple, or do you want me to take them?
I think you can take the first couple.
Perfect.
I'll take the next 2.
All right.
Sound good?
Perfect.
Awesome.
So how will PowerShift benefit my company and affect the bottom line? Right, I think when we talk about having to make investments, right, we're just talking about in product and in the things you have to buy. PowerShift's going to help you, right? You'll end up buying less of it. There's less things to break, less things to maintenance, less things to worry about. And to be honest with you, you'll end up reducing risk during your work because of those mechanical failures we see with gas equipment today with our PowerShift line. Will the PowerShift line continue to expand? Oh, I love this question. It's my favorite because, yeah, we have a gigantic list of things that we're going to continue to do. I would tell you this year alone, we launched a complete head and shaft system for the vibrators. So our vibrator system uses high frequency. And I'll tell you, you know, when we talk about, you know, the financial impact and affect the bottom line, we've had a lot of folks that were our testers, especially doing structural work. So think walls and columns. They were doing up to 60% less refinishing on them by using our high frequency system. That's one, but two is the offering of heads and shafts. So currently available today, you have 1.5 inch, you have 1 3/4, 2 inch, and 2 1/4 with lengths from 7 foot, 10 foot, 16, and 21 foot. This year at World of Concrete, we announced some extension in that line, quite literally. So you will see that we're expanding and we'll be shipping them in the July, August timeframe of this year. 2.5 inch diameter heads. So for those doing think infrastructure work, large lift stuff, any type of civil work, we'll have 2.5 inch available for you in all the lengths I just listed. Plus on top of that, for the full lineup, so again, 1.5 inch, 1 3/4, 2 inch, 2 1/4, 2.5. We're going to have 32 foot shaft lengths, and we'll also be bringing industry first 40 foot in this. So again, right, totally focused at those doing structural work, and really how do we support you. The other big one that we got questions for and requests for was rubber tip. So the whole lineup, all diameters, all lengths, for those using reusable form systems like a Perry or a Doka, we will have a rubber tip available and all those vibrators. So total, before the end of the year, you'll have access to, call it 46 different combinations between diameters and shaft lengths available.
And to build on what I said before, we are going to continue to proliferate the battery and charger platform. So you'll see longer runtime packs, faster chargers, et cetera. So really continuing to proliferate the system on both sides. Was that it? You want me to take the next one?
Yeah, we'll take the next
cool.
one, Sarah.
All right, perfect. So next question we had was, I'm curious what the batteries are constructed with. Are they tabless, 18650s? What kind of voltage do they run on? And how long do they take to charge from dead to full? So as I mentioned earlier, we do utilize pouch cells in our 554 watt hour battery pack. But I want to say that we're most focused on delivering the best performance with whatever cells are the best for the pack at the time. Our cells are far more thermally stable with longer cycle life than the competition. So really letting you keep getting to work and keep working for longer and longer. And I do think I mentioned this earlier, but our current PowerShift charger will charge the 554 watt hour pack from dead to full in 53 minutes. So getting you back to a full charge in less than an hour, which is extremely impressive.
That is really impressive because industry average right now is 90 to 120 minutes.
Yep.
And so to be able to deliver a 53-minute charge, like your team crushed that.
Yeah,
is awesome.
It's awesome. All right, cool. So to build on that, the next question was, what's the recommended battery charging strategy to ensure continuous workflow on large-scale solar projects? Really, with less than an hour charge time, for the current battery and charger pairs, our recommendation would be to charge 2 batteries fully, like you can do on one 15 amp breaker, like we mentioned before. Charge 2 fully, charge 2 more as the work is being done. With an hour charge time, it really leaves you that flexibility. And Ricky mentioned earlier, charging is kind of part of our daily lives now, right? You take your cell phone home, you charge it at night, charge these battery packs overnight, charge them while you're on the job, make it really simple and easy. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, I would love to.
Awesome.
What is the biggest hurdle to overcome when customers compare to the competition's comparative models, electric, gas? I'll be honest, I would say the hardest thing is actually believing that the electrified equipment can actually not only do the same amount of work, but actually be better than what gas is today. And I get it, right? We've all spent time in the field from a product management standpoint, but I mean, this is how you make your money. This is how you get paid and you have something. What I would tell you is you want to compare it, challenge us, challenge DEWALT, right? After this, we were going to send out a link to everybody that attended the call today and that registered, right? Sign up for a demo, right? Task us with it, because I would say seeing is believing. Our sales team across the country all has units. They have every single piece of the system, and they can, answer any questions that you may have that come up later. But, challenge us to prove it to you, because like I said before, that example of that photo shoot we did in Miami, there was a whole lot of disbelief. And, I will tell you that the owners of that company came out to the job because there was a phone call from the superintendent saying, I would never believe this. You have to come see this. And they came out and they were like, all right, we need to figure this out because this is awesome. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like I said, if you want to see PowerShift in person, first of all, challenge us, right? Like I said, you'll be able to get contact with one of our salespeople, one, but two, anybody that sells DEWALT, right, has access to the PowerShift system. You can ask them. What I would recommend you do, though, if there's something specific that you're really interested in, go to our DEWALT website, right? You can go onto the PowerShift page. We have everything there, and then, you know, ask to see it. And anybody that sells DEWALT has access to any of our sales team as well, and they can get one of our reps out to see you to support you.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Love it.
So with that, I think we'll pass it back to Megan. I know we were a little short, but I think we answered a lot of questions. And certainly if you have any others, just let us know. I think we're both available. So Megan, with that, we'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Everybody, that's going to do it for our time today. We're going to bring the webinar to a close. If we didn't get to any questions or you have more that you'd like to send in, please feel free to do that while I'm talking right now, just for a little housekeeping. We're happy to get that to the DEWALT team so that they can answer it for you offline. I just want to thank Ricky and Sarah and the whole DEWALT team for today's webinar panel. Attendees, you can look for an email that will be coming from CBO today with the playback and the presentation from this event, but please feel free to visit constructionbusinessowner.com for more on things like this and other educational webinars. Thanks again to DEWALT. Thank you, everybody, for taking your time to join us today, and I hope you have a great afternoon.